I'm Kara Ray, founder of Ambitious Moms Balancing Business and Babies. I'm a mother, a stepmother to 3 beautiful children. I'm a wife and a proud entrepreneur. I'm a mindset coach specifically for mothers who desire to strip the mom guilt and own their ambition in business and family life. The Powerful and Uncensored Mompreneur podcast is for the ambitious women and mothers who are ready to rise together and empower one another. Get plugged in each week for unfiltered and uncensored conversations between myself and industry leaders who support you, have unwavering points of view, and empower women to believe in themselves. We will be discussing business, spirituality, energy, strong points of views, manifestation, and what I like to call breaking the stigma topics. Conversations that will no longer be silenced. This is a safe place to reclaim your power of being a woman. Let's dive in. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Powerful and Uncensored Mompreneur podcast. Today we're going to be diving into our verbiage and why it's so important to pay attention to the words we speak, not only to ourselves, but also to others. And so I'm so extremely excited for this interview today because I have the amazing Melanie and Layer here with me today. And Melanie is a high-performance lifestyle coach and luxury brand business coach for the woman who wants it all. And she's also the founder of Alpha Femme. So welcome to the podcast, Melanie.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me on. I'm very excited about this.
I'm so excited to share this space with you, and I can't wait to have this conversation because it's going to be a good one.
Yeah.
So before I start my podcast, I always like to ask a question just to kind of get the conversation going. So What is something that you're celebrating, Melanie?
Oh my God, I am celebrating that I am brand newly engaged.
Yes!
I'm so happy.
Congratulations. I'm so happy to say it to you.
Thank you. Oh, I'm so happy. So happy.
Well, I would be too. When I was engaged, I was like over the freaking moon. So congratulations. It's exciting. I bet you two are just like on this like high vibes. So that's great.
Yes, we're having the best time.
That's good. So I have some questions for you today in regards to verbiage, but the first one I want to start with is because I know you've touched on this before in regards to the difference between I want and I desire. And when I listened to that, I really resonated with it. So now I'm very conscious of the words that I'm saying. And I just want you to explain the difference between saying out loud, I want, and the difference between saying I desire something. So, yeah.
Yes. Okay. Well, one of the big things is I really taught myself how to speak English properly because my family is French Canadian. My mom's British, but I went to school in French and did all the things in French. I only spoke English so I could speak with my mom. Everything that was like big words and learning and writing and reading, that was all done in French. So when I met Kevin, my fiance, it was time to start, speaking with him. And I realized my conversational English was very limited. And when I started wanting to become a coach and I started attracting American clients, I was having a really hard time speaking the words I wanted to say. So it became really important for me to become like a words master because I have found that the words we use make a ginormous difference. And the biggest difference they make is they have a different vibrational frequency. So when I say things like I want, I'm often going to say I want in a very different context than I would say I desire. Like, for example, I wouldn't say I desire ice cream. It's a little intense. So I'd say I want ice cream, but it's also something that we use as a low vibrational want is want. Like I want a nap. I want this. I want another client. I want to take a break. I want you to call me at this time. You go to someone's house. Do you want a glass of water? No, I'm good. It's not a very deep connected word, and it's not something that we really pay attention to when we're speaking. We're saying I want like it's just this thing we throw around. So I desire is a higher vibrational word, and I desire talks to the vibration of your heart. It's not just this like I want that's almost on the same frequency as I need. When you think of saying I want, in most the circumstances you use the word in, you could replace it with I need. Do you need a glass of water? No, I don't. I need a nap. I need a break. So we would say want and need the same way, and it comes from a lackful place. So when I say I want, and it's coming from a place of lack, this word is no longer an empowering word. So if I say I want to make $100,000 in my business, but what I really am saying is I need to make $100,000 in my business, then vibrationally, I'm not on the vibration of $100,000 business. I'm on the vibration of needing $100,000 business, which is totally not in alignment with the actual 100,000. So desiring is like when you can feel it in your soul what you want. It's the kind of word that when you say it, you want to smile inside of yourself. Like, I desire. You know, when you desire a man, you can already feel him before you say the words. Like, you can feel what it would be like to be with him before you say, I desire him. When you're saying, I desire ice cream, if you were to say it, even though it's really intense, you would be already tasting it if you're going to use that word. It's a word that's so already aligned with the feeling of having the thing that it's in vibrational alignment with it, which means you manifest with your words, because as you speak them, you feel differently about them. I desire $100,000 business. Like, I can already imagine how I would dress. I desire it. I imagine the vibration, the feeling, the sense I would be, who I would be inside if I had it. Like, I desire it. I can feel it in all of my core. So the key to manifestation is you've got to be on the exact same vibration as the thing you want. Like, that is the vibration of wanting 100,000 and having 100,000 are two different vibrations. So as you speak your desires into reality, you've got to speak in a way that makes you feel like you've already attained it, not a way that makes you realize you haven't got it. And that's the biggest difference between those two words.
I love that. I just took a bunch of notes.
I love it.
So, and even after I heard you first talk about the difference between I want and I desire, I started really focusing on, I kept realizing that I kept continually saying I want. And I was not matching the things that I was desiring. And so now even my husband has noticed that instead of me saying I want, I actually start saying I desire this. And he's like, where did this come from? So, yeah, but it does make a big change and a big impact, because it has changed a lot of things that are occurring in my life because I'm changing the frequency. So 100% agree with that. Okay,
amazing.
yeah. So in regards to the words, because you were talking about feelings, you were talking about the sense of the word, why do you believe, like in the coaching industry to women, that the words and verbiage that we use have a positive or negative influence on our lives?
Well, because everything is energy, and everything is energy. Like, from the things we say to the things we think to the things we see to the things we touch to the things we feel to the things we smell, everything has an energetic field. So words also have energy. And women are very sensual beings. We are, you know, you won't see a man, or you will rarely see a man walk through the candle section of Target and be like, oh my God, I want every candle in this pile. This smells so good. You know,
Yes.
you won't see as many pictures of men holding their Starbucks cup as though the heat from the mug is literally giving them a life altering experience. You know, like, the softness of the materials, like, just feel the texture of my dress, or touch my hair, it's so soft, or like, smell my perfume, smell this, have you tasted this, oh my God. Like, we have such a heightened sensory experience of life. It's such a huge difference that we want to be careful. And when I say careful, I don't mean it in the negative sense of careful. I mean, like, full of care, careful of the way we interact with everything vibrationally in our life. So our words are a vibrational relationship with the universe. When I speak a certain word, I feel it. When I say love, when I say hate, there's a vibration to that. There's even a research that's been made, if you've ever seen this before, of like speaking to water and freezing the crystals, and what it looks like when you speak to water that you say I hate to, and speaking to water that you say love to, the crystals are different. The love crystals are beautifully formed and the hate crystals are broken. There's also a same experience with rice. You say bad things to rice, the rice rots. You say beautiful things to rice, it stays intact for months in a jar. Like, you can Google this and look it up on YouTube. So words have a vibration. They're an extension of a feeling. So when you choose your words with care, and you're thinking of the elevated experience of life you want to have, the choice of words that will come out of your mouth will be much different. If it's like, I desire a life where I make unlimited amounts of money, where my relationship is passionate and romantic and connected, and we laugh till we cry and we cry till we laugh and our sex is incredible. I desire a life where I eat life charged foods that make me feel empowered. I desire a life where I see everything there is to see in this world, where I can see every country in the most beautiful, outstanding way possible, where I experience life experiences at their maximum. Who I am when I'm in that zone is a very high vibrational being, even when I'm just thinking of it, even when I'm just talking about it. Now, when I'm not careful with my words and I just talk the way I talk, when it's not about speaking anymore, when it's just about getting a point across, I'm just talking and I say, oh yeah, I want that. Oh my God, I want that. I want to go there. I want to do that. There's no care. And we're not consciously creating into existence with our words. So it's not necessarily that your words will destroy your vibration. It's just that you're not using them on your side to create what you want. Mm-hmm. In some senses, if you're always speaking negative things and you've got, we talk about hate and annoyance and always talking about bad things, then yeah, your words can cause disruption in your life. But usually what happens is it's just this very bleh way of talking. Mm-hmm. Like I'm talking just to talk, and I want and I think and I feel and I this and that, and it's just it doesn't have anything magical to it. But when you elevate into this new level of desire, your words change. And when your words change to suit your vibe, your life changed to suit your words. And that's when you know your life is changing.
Okay, I love that you ended with that, because I wanted to talk to you about when you started being very conscious about the words that you were saying. What started to change in your life? What did you start to attract? What was the first biggest sign that you were like, oh my goodness, I really do need to be very conscious of what I'm saying?
Well, the biggest thing for me is that I didn't feel confident speaking in English when I first started speaking in English, because I didn't know the right words. And I think when you're learning a new language, if you ever start to learn a new language, you're not ever thinking, I need to learn how to speak on a stage with this language. You're thinking, I need people to understand me, which is the basic level of conversation. So when I was bilingual, which I spoke English and French, I could speak French in a way where I could get any point across, but I could only speak English to have a conversation. So when I started wanting to speak English, realizing I wasn't having the impact I had in French, it really bothered me. And I felt a difference, because I've always actually really liked words. I like saying the right word. It feels like the perfect shoe. Like you say the right word and you're like, that is a good word. I've always had that in French. I couldn't do it in English. I was like, I don't even know what these words are. So it actually started because Kevin is very eloquent in the English language, and he says words. When we first started dating, I was like, I've got to Google that. I have no idea what that means. And I was constantly Googling words. And what I found was, even in the words I researched, I would find a word in the description of the word that I didn't understand. So it was like, oh my gosh, I really don't know these words. But when I started pulling out good words, it started with Kevin. He was like, that's a good word. Mm-hmm. Like he had the same love of words as I did. And then all of a sudden I was saying good words, using them in the right context, and it impressed him. And to be honest, that was my first, like, he's noticing the quality of my words. That felt really good to me. And when I started going online after, a couple of years in my business, and when I started doing Facebook Lives, I would get people reach out to me and say, I love the way you speak. I feel like the way you speak is so clear. Like I see it, like it's a picture, the way you speak. Mm-hmm. I feel like I've heard things so many times before, but when you say them, I get them. And that became a bit of an addictive feeling to me. I want to be the kind of person, I desire to be the kind of person that when I speak, people have an image painted in their head. Like it's the clearest way anyone's ever spoken to them before. So if that's the desire of my heart, then that's how I decide to speak. I speak on a much higher vibrational level.
Love it. Also, when I was younger, my parents actually put me in French immersion from K to 12. And so when I was young though, I started actually speaking more French than I was English. And I started talking French to my parents, who knew no French at all. And then I wish that I had continued carrying on with it after high school, but I didn't. but I was learning everything in French. All my subjects were in French. And even
Wow.
when I talked to my husband, he's like, I know. He's like, I was in English. I don't understand it. And so being bilingual is amazing, but it also requires a lot of patience and a lot of learning. And so, yeah, I couldn't imagine, because I know that people say that the English language is one of the hardest ones to learn. So that's amazing that you did that.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah. So in regards to, because you were touching on manifestation before a little bit too, and the words that you were saying. So in a day, is there something that you tell yourself every day, almost like a word of affirmation that you just need to tell yourself every day? Not need, but you want to tell yourself every day? See, now I'm saying need and want.
That's
But
okay.
something that you desire to tell yourself each and every day.
So it's also, I just want to make a point, like, it's okay to say the word need, and it's okay to say the word want. It's just, when is it the right word? Sometimes want and need is the right word. Do you want ice cream? Do you want to say this? What do you want to say to yourself? What do you need in this moment? Like, these are good words. It's just sometimes we use them in the wrong context. When you're thinking of something super high vibe, then you want to push yourself to say things that are a little more, conscious. I say want. It's not like I've revoked that word from my vocabulary. It's just that there's a difference. I know the difference when I say want and when I say desire. I know the difference. So daily, I have affirmations about all kinds of different things. There are two things in my life that are the major focus for me right now, and that's my business and my men. Those are the two biggest things. And the two programs that I'm running right now are one about money and one about relationships. So everything about my life is completely intertwined. Like, what my focus is what I teach, is what I live, is what I teach, is what I live, is what I teach, is what I live. So always when there's a breakdown, my goal is to find the breakthrough, because I know I'm going to want to teach it. So I'm constantly thinking to myself, how do I want to remember this moment in hindsight? Like, how am I going to want to tell the story about this?
Mm-hmm.
This is one of my most frequent thoughts throughout the day. There's a breakdown and I'm like, okay, well, how am I going to want to tell the story? Once I have to share it with my social media, when I want to share it with my clients, am I going to want to say, okay, so my tire popped and then I'm on the side of the highway, I had a mental breakdown, I was crying on the side of the highway. Like, is that the story? Or is it, I did it, I took a deep breath, I realized, that I'm the leader of my life and I lead my clients, and what would I tell my clients in this situation? So how do I want to tell this story is a very big one for me. How do I want to tell the story helps me decide how I want to live the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a really big one. Another thing is, I have a strong belief that every dollar I spend is always an investment, and it's going to come back no matter what I spend on, whether I'm spending on trips, whether I'm spending on food, whatever it is. I believe that every dollar I spend is multiplied when it comes back to me.
I like that. I need to live by that. Wow. That's good. So because we're talking about expressions and words and feelings, this is just a fun question. What is your favorite word and why?
Favorite word. I think my favorite word is delicious.
Ooh. Ooh.
Delicious is my favorite word, because I feel like I can use it in like, I love it when things smell delicious. I love it when things taste delicious. I love it when an experience feels delicious. I love, like, just that. I love that word. I just feel like that is such a good word. Delicious.
It's such a juicy word. It holds so many
Yeah.
different meanings.
Yeah.
I like that. Well, good word.
Thank you.
So in regards to, because I wrote down, there's a quote that I had found probably about 2 years ago, and it really resonated with me, because it goes, there's a message in a way a person treats you. Listen. And in regards to the words that people are speaking to you, or the words that you're saying, there's a message behind that. And so have you ever been around somebody that may not be confident, or may not speak clearly, and so their message becomes jumbled? Have you ever experienced that, and have you ever helped them to clear that up?
So, okay, can you repeat the second part? Because I'm clear on the first part, but I don't want to
Yes.
answer this wrong. So explain the second part again.
So in regards to, say, in coaching, I should have clarified that a little bit more myself too, now that I'm thinking about it. In
Okay,
regards
so in
to
coaching.
coaching and coaching women, when somebody is trying to explain something to you and it's coming across the wrong way, or they could be saying it in such a more powerful way that they would, in regards to vibration and manifestation, is there ever something where you've had a teachable moment for someone in a coaching world where you were able to tell them that they need to be speaking kinder to themselves, or you were able to teach them, that words hold this strong meaning, strong value, and they've really resonated with that, and then in turn created these massive changes for themselves? Does that make
This
more sense?
happens all the time. Like, I'll have clients reach out to me and say things like, I just wish people were willing to pay my new price for my coaching packages. So I'm just waiting for people to want to pay my new pricing. And I know that they just signed 2 clients this week. And I'm like, do you have anybody who did pay for your new pricing? And they're like, yes, 2. Okay, if I didn't know that, I'd think no one ever bought. So what do you think the universe is hearing?
Mm-hmm.
So what's a different way that you use the same situation, but you declare it in a way that makes you feel empowered instead of disempowered? Because saying I'm just sitting over here waiting for some people to decide that my pricing is okay and to pay my high vibe pricing, that is such a low vibe way to express that. What you could say is 2 people have already up leveled to my new pricing, and I'm so excited for the other clients that are coming.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not excited and you're nervous and you want to tell the truth, you can still tell the truth in that. You can say 2 people have already signed up and I'm really excited about that. I'm just hoping more come in and I'm getting nervous right now. Like, do you need to say the whole story that's the worst crappy wording story of the whole world? Or can you be high vibe and still have a concern? Yes, you can. And it changes everything. Then it's like, oh, haha, psych, I just signed a new client within like 5 minutes. And then it's like, lol, of course you did.
Well, I think that's extremely important for people to know too, because it's giving themselves permission to realize that they've said something and now to change it. They can process it, allow it to let go. It was just like a similar situation that happened this week, where we have 3 dogs here, and one of my dogs ended up getting into something and got extremely sick. We didn't know. They went downstairs and our carpet was ruined because they had trapped everywhere, and I mean everywhere, where I went down there and didn't even know where to begin. And before I was conscious of like my feelings and the words I was saying and all these different things, I would have allowed that situation to wreck my entire day, where that day I literally had my mini meltdown where I was like, I do not know how I'm going to do this, but I did it. And then called my husband. He's like, we won't worry about it. And then I cleaned it up and ended up having an amazing rest of my day because I processed it and let it go. So giving yourself permission to just be okay in your moment and say the things you need to say and then let it go, I think is extremely important.
Yes. Yes. A million times yes.
Yes.
So how you tell the story is the story.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the story? And how do you actually want to remember it in your cellular memory? Because once you own that story, it's yours. Is this the one you want to remember? And this is why I often ask myself, how do I want to remember this in hindsight?
Mm-hmm.
How do I want to tell this story? Do I want it to say, okay, so 2 people, I raised my prices, 2 people signed up, and then I got into a tailspin about how only 2 people signed up, and then I started thinking about how so many more should have signed up. Like, is that the story? No, it's not the story. So what's the story? I raised my prices and 2 new people signed up. And then what? Like, it's get rid of the drama in your words, like let them go, because the way you tell the story becomes the story.
Yes. And I like that you touched on that, because especially in regards to, you still need to celebrate your accomplishments and what you've accomplished. Even when I had talked with Autumn before, I didn't even celebrate the things that I had accomplished, like the big dreams of having a home and having children and having a dog and all these big things. Those were still major things that I wanted a part of my life. And so she reminded me to sit down and actually anchor in those moments. And I was blown away that I didn't even give myself the permission to be grateful and celebrate for the things that I already had created in my life. And so you were talking about Facebook Lives, and in regards to those, I just started doing a bunch of Facebook Lives, and you get more comfortable and confident as you keep going. But I have had people come and talk to me about how my verbiage, what I'm saying, the messages are being clear because I'm being exactly who I am, like not apologetic, nothing, just genuine. And I was surprised because originally when I first started into coaching, my parents were, not all game for it. My mom was, but not my father. And he watches every single live. He talks to me every single day. He notices the impact that I'm making. And and I'm talking about that in regards to other people's limiting beliefs, because I think we allow other people's limiting beliefs to change our verbiage and the way we react to a situation. And so I like this because giving yourself permission to just be and say the words and then process and do the thing. Oh, it's so important.
Yes.
So important.
That's so big. Yes.
Okay, so I have one more question for you. If there was one message that you could leave all these amazing listeners with, what would that be?
The biggest thing is the universe doesn't work on time.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about how long would it take me to start learning to speak that way, or how long would it take me to fix the English language that I speak, or how long will it take for me to become successful, or how long will it take if I start manifesting? How long does a manifestation take in order to come into reality? How long will it take me to become successful? How long? That actually has nothing to do with it. What you're really working with always is not time, it's alignment. And what alignment is when you are locked and loaded on the vibration of the thing that you're desiring, and you are on the vibration of it. When you are interacting with your life at the level you want it to be, when you're making decisions from the person, like, who is she that has everything she's ever wanted? That's the woman you're making decisions from that place. Not from the fear that you're not going to make it, not from what if it doesn't work, from this place of, if I had everything already lined up, how would I be making decisions? So your job is not to worry about, do people understand me? Am I speaking? Am I being relatable? That's not your job. Your job is to be real. And the people who are meant to align with you are going to align with you. Your job is not to say, oh, if I start speaking like that, maybe people won't get me, or they'll think this or they'll think that. Your job is to say, how do I want to speak at this new level of being me? What do I desire to create at this level in my life? And then wait for the people that need to align with you to align. So your job is to align with what you want, and their job is to align with what they want. And the clearer you are with what you want, the easier it is for people to align with you. Yes. It has nothing to do with time. You just have to do it right now, just because, with no reason, with no breakdown before the breakthrough, just because you declare it right now in this moment, you align with what you want. That's it. And the world will align with you. And that's what I would leave your audience with.
That is amazing, especially when you touched on fear and faith, because you can either live in fear or you can either live in faith. You cannot live in both. And so you can live in this lack and scarcity in your mindset, or you can live in this faith, in this unknown, and just go all in, because that is something that I'm embodying, because I have some massive goals in my life. And I know that this woman, I need to embody this woman and teach other women also to embody this person. And so, because if I was, even 6 months ago, the transformation that I've made 6 months ago to now is drastic, but I want that to continue to happen, because even when we're making purchases or doing different things, we're not sitting back in scarcity and lack, and we are looking at, no, we desire this, we want this, we our children need these things. And so we look at it in a completely different mindset. Instead of sitting in fear, we know that it's going to come back, and it always has. It is a magical thing, manifestation. Oh my goodness, that is a whole other topic. That thing is juicy, and it works so well when you align yourself. And I love that you talked about that, how you literally need to declare and make sure that you're speaking who she is and where she wants to go, so that you align with that, and then it comes back at you tenfold. So thank you for coming on this podcast. This conversation was amazing in regards to verbiage and, speaking. So the one thing that, before we go, all of our listeners on here, how are they able to find you and connect with you further?
So I am the Facebook and Instagram kind of person. I don't even have a website or anything at this point. It's social media only. So you
Mhm.
can find me just by finding me on Facebook, Melanie Ann Layer. I have a business page, Melanie Ann Layer dash Alpha Femme. And you can find me on Instagram at Alpha Femme Official. Those are the best ways to reach me.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for coming on here, Melanie. I hope you have the most amazing rest of your day. And congratulations again on your engagement. And
Thank you.
yeah, have a great day, Melanie.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.